Dana Schwartz, and this is Rise or Die, the official companion podcast for Peacock's original series, Those About to Die. On this podcast, I go behind the scenes with the show's cast and creators to learn how they brought their brutal vision of Rome to life.
Gosh, people will freak out.
Rise or Die launches on July 18th. Watch or listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Do you know what lies within nothing?
No.
Do you know where it ends? Do you want to know?
Yes. Counterbalance, a high fantasy audio drama. Season 2, coming 15th of October 2023. Learn more on trilunas.com. Oh my goodness, hello!
Hi!
Hey, it's us again.
It is. We're here.
To tell you some things before the proper beginning of the episode begins.
Wow.
First of all, holy smokes, we have got some new merch that we are very excited about. We have a magical kitten bored meow shirt.
Yeah, you heard that right. Bored meow.
Yeah, right? That Diana Kresge illustrated for us. It is a thing of beauty. We also have a new version of the Smash the Demon Lizard Patriarchy shirt. Many of you have requested merch that would suit your goth lifestyle.
Merch that Kate Leth could have worn in high school.
And we're only, or now, too happy to oblige. We've got a brand new Smash the Demon Lizard Patriarchy designed by Devin Power, and it is sick. Both new shirts are so awesome.
Oh, it has like two hammers crossed with a stake down the middle.
Yeah.
It's just really special.
Yes. Both of those things, as well as Smash the Demon Lizard Patriarchy baby onesies.
Yeah, you can't start them too young, Jenny.
And the Smash the Demon Lizard Patriarchy original design tank tops, back by popular demand. They're all up in our brand new shiny store, which you can still find by going to bufferingthevampireslayer.com and clicking on shop.
Yes, you can. You can. Now, I want to talk about something for a second over here. We have a Patreon. We talk about it here and there because it's the way that we support the podcast. It's the way that we support our work. It keeps us going, and it also brings really fun things to you all in the land of Patreon, right? Something, though, remarkable has happened. Something that we didn't plan. We couldn't have planned it, right? We could not have conceived of it on our own. We got an email from one of our patrons that said, hey guys, I wanted to give you a heads up to let you know that in the secret Facebook group, if you're a patron at any level, the $1, the $5, the $10 level, you're welcome in the secret Facebook group. And it is thriving. There's like 1,000 members, and I mean, it's just a wonderland. So this person said, I wanted to make sure that you knew that we're doing a holiday gift exchange.
I can't.
We set it up. You did this of your own volition, set up a holiday gift exchange. So there's a big list. There were 70-something people on it the last time I checked. We were invited to join, and we have both joined individually.
Yes.
So everyone gets matched up with somebody else, and then you exchange holiday gifts. Because we're all huge nerds and we love each other and we love the sense of community, and it's the holiday season and it's just so special. I could cry. If you would like to be a part of the holiday gift exchange, I believe it's open until November 26th. That's the day that the list sort of closes. Just become a patron. If you're not already, you'll get into the secret Facebook group, and one of the events is the holiday gift exchange. So as long as you get there before the 26th of November, you'll be entered in. Everybody is going to be matched. Two of you will be matched with, one of you will be matched with me, and one of you will be matched with Jenny.
Oh my goodness.
We'll give each other gifts.
The pressure.
It's so great. I believe it's like the spending limit is like $25. So it's not, it's not a super high thing. And we'll all be sort of at the same level of giving. Plenty of new t-shirts that you could, no, I'm kidding. I'm just so moved by it. And so I wanted to let you all know about that and a couple of other really fun things happening in the world of Patreon.
Yes.
First of all, next week we're off, right? We're doing this 3 weeks on, 1 week off thing so that we're energized and we can write you good music and talk about things and be just ready to go. But next week, we will be releasing a mailbag episode, and all of our $10 patrons get the mailbag episode. So we wanted to let you know, if you're a patron at that level, you will not have an off week. You will have an on week. You'll get a mailbag where we talk about so many theories about why Angel might set a fire in his establishment. We will talk about Newton's second law of motion and how that mathematically informs whether or not Buffy could have severed Gwendolyn Post's arm with that piece of glass in Revelations. We will talk about the recent elections. We talk about a ton of stuff. It's a really fun episode, and we're excited to share it with all of you who are supporting us at that level. So thank you. And for all of our patrons at any giving level, we get Buffy watches. And on December 9th, drum roll, please, we will be watching Bad Girls together. Yeah, you heard me. Bad Girls. Jenny and I will be sitting down, giggling our faces off.
I'm very excited
at that Buffy watch. So you can check out all the details again over on the secret Facebook page. The event is up there. December 9th, Bad Girls, you all and us. To check out our Patreon page, just go to bufferingthevampireslayer.com and click on Patreon. Oh, one more quick thing.
Yes.
We have a little bit of extra adult language in this episode.
Sorry.
We get into a conversation about the bases and what they mean. So we know some of you listen to this with your children, and perhaps you are comfortable with these things being discussed amongst your children.
Very progressive of you.
Sure, but we just wanted to give you a heads up. We say some stuff. Maybe you're cool with it. Maybe you don't want your. I don't know.
Maybe you should
I don't
just
know
listen
you
first without
Maybe
your
you
kids.
should listen
and then-
first.
Okay, cool.
Great.
Welcome to Buffering the Vampire Slayer, a podcast where we are watching and discussing every episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer one at a time in chronological order. My name is Jenny Owen Youngs.
And I am Kristen Russo, and this week we are talking about Season 3, Episode 9, The Wish, also known as the one with Anya.
True.
I left a pause for you so you could put in the crowd cheer.
Yes.
Stay tuned at the end of this podcast every week for an original song written by us recapping the Buffy episode we are discussing.
The Wish was written and directed by Dream Team Marty Noxon and David Greenwald, respectively, and originally aired on December 8th, 1998.
Woo! Ingrid Michaelson's birthday.
Also one of my friends who isn't famous, his birthday.
This is the one where Cordelia's wish for a Buffy-free Sunnydale comes true, plunging her into a world where vampires have control of the town.
Ooh, plunging.
Yeah, IMDb has had a long string of good weeks.
They hired a new writer for season 3 recaps.
They upped the ante for season 3 descriptions.
Speaking of upping the ante, if I may.
You may.
We see a brand new kind of demon at the beginning of this episode, and I'm calling it Spawn of Cthulhu.
Sure,
Acolyte
sure.
of Cthulhu.
Sure. I'm calling it Zoidberg.
Also totally valid. Either way.
I actually, in my notes, I called it Octopus Head, and then I was like, wait a second. I know
I've seen
another
this before.
Octopus Head.
No offense if you are an octopus-like humanoid or if you have a lot of mouth tentacles, but it's really for a human who has grown up around other humans who have sideways
we've been
mouths
socially conditioned.
And no mouth tentacles.
Right, of course.
The mouth tentacles almost covering a vertical spiny toothed mouth.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
Very upsetting.
It's pretty rough. And it's pretty accurate with what is going on underneath the ocean, in my opinion. I mean, maybe not this
who knows what's
exact
down
demon,
there.
but right. Jenny, I'm not exactly sure how you feel about oceans, but I am terrified of them because of exactly these kind of Zoidbergs.
I have a healthy yet fearful respect for the oceans. A long time ago, I wanted to be an ocean person. That sounds like I wanted to be a mermaid or something. Yeah. I wanted to be like a marine biologist or something. I was very into sharks growing up, and we had some saltwater tanks for reasons no one can explain.
Right.
We had eels and seahorses and whatnot growing up. I was very into salt water. But also,
I mean, it's a very healing substance.
yes, so healing, full of magnificent creatures,
Yes.
whales.
Magic.
Sorry,
I'm just giving the facts about the ocean.
Right.
Salt water, healing properties, magic, and
whales.
and the unknown abyss of
cucumbers.
terror.
Right. It is deeply alarming when you think about the possibility that the ocean might contain a
Right?
creature
That you don't know?
so large that we can't even fathom. You know what also I sometimes think about? What if the Earth is an egg? And that molten core that the scientists love to go on and on about is actually
the bottom of the ocean?
an embryo.
Go on.
And that's the yolk of the Earth.
Okay.
And soon, as global warming continues
Yes.
to increase,
Of course. That's not a real thing, but yes.
that's made up. The Earth will hatch. We will all be cast off like so much useless debris headed for the galactic dustbin. And whatever has been growing and forming for millennia inside the egg of the Earth.
This is
will
never going
hatch.
to connect back to the ocean, is it?
No, I'm just talking about like fear,
I'm
the
waiting.
I'm mysteries
waiting.
of the Earth, even deeper than the ocean.
I see.
It's just like another my ponderings, my childhood ponderings upon the depth and unknowability of the ocean
go further
naturally led to that
I see.
deeper fear.
Wow. Well, I hope that everyone is happy that they've chosen to listen to Buffering the Vampire Slayer, a podcast where we terrify you about the possibilities that lie within the Earth's core.
Yes. So we see here a rare moment of practicality, or the acknowledging of sort of practical reality, which is that not all demons go poof when you kill them.
Right. Not all demons go, which I think we talked about early in the season. That, I remember you talking about the fact that the decision for vampires to dust was a practical one, because what would we have done with all of those?
Bodies.
Like, what would they have just practically done filming wise with all of those dead bodies, you know?
Right. And then what would they do, in terms of being high school students?
Right. Would they have to would there be
a
burying?
We see in this episode, there's an incinerator.
Right. But yeah, and I think, watching this, I thought this was like a fun moment for us learning about their relationship, and they're coming together as the trio of Scoobies right now. They're just like, Buffy's been through a broken heart, and Xander and Willow are now suffering broken hearts, and they're bonding over it. And Buffy says, if you guys hadn't been here to help me, I might have died. I mean, I don't really buy it, because the whole opening scene with her, she's literally like, as she's quote dying, she's like rolling her eyes and making jokes still. So you feel like she would have been okay. But I think the purpose of this is to underline the Buffy we actually see in this episode once we get past the wish, which is a Buffy that acts alone with no help whatsoever. Like, it's really in stark contrast.
Right. Also, everyone's broken at the same time.
Everyone's broken. And it's that misery does like company. So it's a good moment for the Scoobies sharing the
You know who
sadness.
doesn't have anybody to share their pain with?
Yeah.
Cordelia.
Yeah.
She's just sharing her pain with open flames.
I love this scene, though. Like, I mean,
who doesn't love spitefully burning pictures of someone who hath scorned you?
Cordelia, like, okay, I don't want for Cordelia's heart to be broken. I don't want for Cordelia to have fallen down a stairway hole and to have been impaled. But I also don't want Cordelia to date Xander. So there's a bit of a win in this episode for me because I feel like Cordelia is channeling her pain and finding some of her anger that is going to keep her away from men who are stupid. Men, as she says later on, she wishes for a world with no men except for maybe
I believe she says the beautiful and the very intelligent.
What? No. The beautiful and the very intelligent. Wait, here's what I wrote down. Jenny, we know what men Jenny wants to keep around. Cordelia wants to keep around no men except for the dumb and feeble.
What? That's what she said?
Yes.
I don't know. I think you had.
You want to go back and check the tape?
No. Let's just let it ride.
Let's go back and check the tape.
In fact, I wish all men, except maybe the dumb and the really agreeable kind, disappear off the face of the earth. That would be so cool.
Okay, so we played the sound clip. It's clear. One thing is clear is that Cordelia does not say beautiful and intelligent, but that is what Jenny heard. So maybe this was a little magical scene where you hear what you want to hear.
Hear what you want.
But it's not unclear. She does say dumb and maybe feeble, maybe beautiful, maybe what was the word that you thought it might be?
Agreeable.
Agreeable. Dumb and agreeable would make sense. So we don't know what this line is. Maybe somebody has the script and can let us know.
Please.
What that last line was supposed to be. But regardless, point being, I like to live in a world where Cordelia is just not happy with men, you know?
I like to live in a world where cue the blues riff, cue the metal guitar solo,
yes.
cue the convertible flaming into its parking spot, the door opening, the high heel dropping to the floor.
This is like the best entrance in the series.
It's so great.
Like
it's
Spike
so great.
drives through the fucking sign. It's great. He's got a cigarette, whatever.
Yeah.
But like Buffy has some good moments.
Yeah.
But when we get this scene where we hear Willow say, Amy said she looked pretty scary, and then let's just like play a little bit of the guitar solo.
Yeah.
So good. It's just so good. It's so good. And don't you worry, Kate Leth is going to join us this episode. She's got a lot to say, but everybody just hold tight. We're going to we'll get there. Not quite yet, but holy shit, Cordelia.
Also real. Harmony is the worst.
Harmony is the worst. Mercedes McNabb, the actress who plays Harmony, does a fucking amazing job in this scene. I mean, she does an amazing job, hard stop. But I just feel like we see that Harmony is the worst, and also that Harmony is so just riddled with insecurity all at one time. Like, you know, you can play a mean girl, or you can play a mean girl. And Mercedes McNabb, shout out to you. We should try to get Mercedes McNabb on the show.
Come talk to us.
Right.
Mercedes.
I'll work on it. I'll work on it, everybody. But in the meantime, let's discuss. Cordelia.
Well, who's that new Cordette?
Who? I don't know, Jenny. Who is that?
Well, her name is Anya. I wonder if we'll ever see her again.
I wonder if we will. I mean, if we don't, I still understand why she is your favorite.
Totally.
Character.
You've seen the full 360 degrees of
She's
Anya.
great. She knows Prada from Payless, and she's not siding with the Cordettes.
Nice.
She's siding with our Cordelia.
Hell yeah.
She's
probably got the Cordelia appreciation jingle as her ringtone.
100%. 100%. It actually plays out of her little, like, what do you call that?
Her amulet?
Her amulet. Yeah, it just plays out of her amulet at the right at
Oh
all the
man,
right
imagine if we
moments.
had amulet, if we sold amulets
that
just
played
played the Cordelia
Cordelia's
song.
jingle. It would be
Wow.
pretty rude to Anya, I think. Anya will eventually, I'm sure, have a jingle. And I feel like
we ever see her
if we have an
again.
amulet, it should probably play Anya's jingle. Anyway, we're just too far ahead of ourselves here. Let's go to Jonathan for a moment, because there's this moment, right?
Oh yeah.
Cordelia meets Anya. Anya's like, yo, I've got your number, girl. They have a moment. Maybe they're in the running for the Sexual Attention Award. There's
Wow.
a lot. There's a lot of people in the running for it this episode. We'll get there. But then Harmony pulls this bullshit on Cordelia. She's like, hey, now that you're like single and ready to fucking mingle, I got just the guy for you.
Wow.
And it's Jonathan.
And
with
it's
his-
Jonathan drinking a huge glug.
Drinking a huge glug, oblivious to the entire world.
You know, while I was watching this scene and feeling my little heartstrings being pulled on behalf of Jonathan and Cordelia,
Yes.
I thought to myself, why does that one Cordette look so familiar? So I looked her up,
Okay.
and you may remember her from a film entitled Bring It On,
Oh, wow.
in which she played Whitney, or as you might remember her more readily, Whoa, 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 Whitney.
Wow.
Which
Holy
is
crap.
how they announce her in a
Whoa.
cheer.
It's good, Jenny. We always like when you
Thank
give
you.
us cheers.
So I'm just saying this is at least the second Bring It
Cast
On
member.
alum.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, that's 2001, isn't it?
Bring it on. I believe
So,
that's correct.
Maybe Bring It On just did all their pulled all
They
their
were
casting
like,
from Buffy.
were you in Buffy? You're in. Or were you Kristen's cousin? You're in.
Wait, what?
My cousin is in Bring It On. She's
Which cousin?
Jennifer. Jennifer Peterson.
I'm sorry. What?
She's
Oh, it's
an extra.
2000. Sorry. What?
She's
Where?
an extra. She's an extra. There's a scene in Bring It On where they're sitting they're all sitting in a classroom, and Jennifer, my cousin, everyone is in the classroom. She's sitting like 2 seats behind whoever the guy is in that scene.
What?
Yeah, and she's prominently featured because she's right behind him, and so she's in a lot of the shots.
How have we been together for 8 years and you have
I don't
failed
know.
to disclose this
I don't know.
vital
you
information?
won't see her name in the credits. She was just an extra. Also, her name wasn't even Jennifer Peterson then. So,
Wow.
whatever. If you're in Buffy or if you're Kristen's cousin, you got in the movie Bring It On. Moving right along. So this scene, right? Cordelia has a lot of high highs and a lot of low lows in very short spans of time in this episode. She's been impaled. She's fucking Cordelia. You know what, Jenny? I can't make it any further. We have to fucking play her jingle. We might play it more than once, but just give it to us.
Cordelia, I love you, Cordelia. You're perfect, Cordelia.
I might do this. I might give it to her again for specific reasons, but I wanted to give it to Cordelia, her jingle. I wanted to give Cordelia's jingle to her because she is such a fucking badass. This girl just fell on a pole that went through her fucking body. She got literally so heartbroken by the boy she loved. I don't know why she loved it, but she did. She's heartbroken. She's impaled. She fucking was home for 1 goddamn week. She put on her fucking best outfit we may have ever seen. Rolled up to school like fuck y'all. Got out of her fucking car. Got bullied by these assholes and is still walking through the fucking halls. She shows up at the fucking bronze. She gets pushed into the garbage. She breaks her stitches. She's back at school again the fucking next day. She fucking rules. She rules.
I know.
I love her.
I know.
Thank God we have a jingle that sums it up. Whew. Okay.
So quick break from Cordelia.
Yes. Go to Oz.
Because Oz and Willow, right? We see this display of unprecedented emotional maturity in which Oz is not only able to articulate what he wants, but then also, and needs.
Yeah.
And then also when he feels what Willow's putting back to him, is able to identify that and its origins and immediately say, hey, I feel like I've told you what I need and you're saying this stuff anyway, and all I can glean from that is that you're not respecting what I want and you just want to make yourself feel better. So please respect my wishes and go away.
If ever there was a character who would have this emotional maturity, it would be Oz.
How did he get like this? Willow's parents are therapists.
Well,
and
Willow's parents are
the
mangled
worst,
her. I mean,
right?
whatever. We don't know.
I was
Willow's
gonna say
parents,
are Oz's parents therapists and have they helped?
It seems
forge him into a emotionally mature young adult.
I would guess that Oz has good parents.
Yeah.
I would guess from his emotional maturity and his ability to know himself. We talked about that even back in Beauty and the Beasts, that Oz is a character who knows his weaknesses, who elects to control them, who elects to lean on his friends when he needs them, who is able to in this moment, because this is not how a breakup would go if you were Kristen Russo and you were 36. It wouldn't even go this way.
Noted.
You know what I mean? Watch out, Jenny. But it's my emotions get the best of me more often than not. Oz has. You're surprised? You don't. Yeah.
No, I was just agreeing with you as your co-host. You know yourself best. You must be right.
Right.
I've never seen anything. I've never seen your emotions get the best of you, for example.
Yes.
But I'm sure it happens.
But Oz is not this. And to Willow's credit, neither is Willow. Willow is definitely. Oz is correct in his assessment that she's trying to feel better, but she also doesn't push it too far.
Yeah, she can take in what he says and acknowledge that it's sort of on the money.
Right. She's able to give him space. So that's great. My next note, I have to remember what it's in reference to. LOL. Oh, I wrote LOL John Lee. Because now let's move to people who have a little less emotional maturity.
Yeah, that guy sucks.
Well, John Lee, but I'm talking about
Cordelia being let me pretend. What? Who would that ever work on? Xander has depth perception.
In my teeth?
And can see how far apart their heads are. Can't he?
Well, Well, Cordelia, I mean, I think the real question here, Jenny, is not about Xander's depth perception. It's about how Cordelia asks John Lee to see if she has something in her teeth and then tilts
wobbles
her head back and forth. And John Lee also I think it's really about John Lee and Cordelia here more than...
Also, is he like John middle name Lee, or is she just calling him by his full name?
I don't know. I mean, I had people in high school who I would like
call by
like,
their full name. Sure.
Yeah. So he might just be one of those people. Anyhow, John Lee breaks the news to Cordelia. Oh, you know what this needs, Jenny? You know what this fucking guy does? Sorry, man. I'd really like to make out with you, but we're gonna have to do that in private because I want to keep my reputation because I'm a fucking dude and I'm the worst. The patriarchy! Yeah, you're right, Jenny. It was the patriarchy at work. The patriarchy was at work here in this scene. I know it's a shock to all of us.
Well, it's just that women are things and accessories and tools for social
status.
Yeah.
Yeah, social status tools to increase one's power.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. What's beautiful about this patriarchal moment is that the next moment I have noticed that happens here in this scene in the school is between Anya and Cordelia, where Anya says, "Can I just say men?" And Cordelia says, "Seconded." And I think it's great. Thank you for listening.
I think it's great too. Though it does prevent them from passing the Bechdel test in this scene.
Does it? Does it count? Okay.
Oh, right. If you're just disgusted, with the construct of men.
Right. I don't know. It's like if it's two women speaking about a man, you don't pass the Bechdel test. If it's two women smashing the patriarchy by being like, we don't fucking need men. Does it?
Yes.
It's a good question. I pose it to you, listeners. Does that moment count or does it not in the Bechdel test system?
Do let us know.
Yes, please. One other thing Anya mentions in this scene that I took note of was she says something like, I knew immediately, or like, I was so glad to find somebody else who obviously read W.
Which I thought was like a political magazine.
No.
Having to do with like George Washington.
George W. Bush.
No, George Washington. I don't know why that's how it's filed in my brain.
It is not. It is a magazine that still is being printed today, but I did a dig just to see what was happening on W Magazine in the 90s, and it is a joy. It is a joy. I will do my best to put up a post on some of our social media platforms, some 1998 covers of W Magazine. I'm looking right now at one with Liv Tyler. There's another one with Gwyneth Paltrow, 1998. Like, who even remembered that Gwyneth Paltrow was on the covers of magazines in 1998?
Yeah, that's wild.
Sometimes I forget that everyone that is in my orbit now was still in an orbit.
Right.
In the 90s, you know? We were all got Kate, what's her name? Kate
Winslet.
No, Moss.
Beckinsale.
Kate Moss.
Moss.
I should have let you keep going. Kate Leth was on the cover of W Magazine, 1998. She was 7.
Yeah.
I don't know how old Kate was in 1998, actually.
So,
anyhow,
we go to the bronze, right?
We do.
Because Cordelia's keeping up appearances. And you know who else is trying to keep up apperances is Xander.
Not nailing it. Not nailing it. Cordelia is fucking nailing it.
Yeah, she might actually be having a good time.
We go to Xander. We go to the Scoobies sitting on the couch, you know, back in their like pity party moment where there's a really great discussion, I think.
Yeah.
That they have about Guilt-a-Palooza, as they call it. Shout out to Lollapalooza from the 90s. Jenny, did you
ever? Also now Lollapalooza's ongoing.
But like, let's be real about Lollapalooza.
Wow.
No, I mean, like, it was invented in the 90s.
What's the thing where you take off your glove and you slap somebody across the face with it? And then that means you have to duel or something?
I'm just saying Lollapalooza in the 90s
thrown.
was better than Lollapalooza any other time. Wow. Don't you think? Is it just because I was a child of the 90s?
No. I pledged all my loyalty to anything, any 90s version of anything.
Wasn't Lollapalooza invented by Blues Traveler?
I think you're thinking of the Horde Festival.
The Horde Tour.
H-O-R-D-E.
You're right. H-O-R-D-E. Okay, so Lollapalooza just created itself.
Yes, it's spawned itself. Molecularly speaking, there was a stamen.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of other flower anatomy. A bee pollinated,
A bee pollinated a palooza. and out came Lollapalooza. But
It's weird that it wasn't a Beapalooza.
for people who weren't around in the 90s, I just want to be very clear that this was a joke that lasted for many years. I certainly attached Palooza to many
I think that's
a thing.
still ongoing.
You keep,
I mean, no, I'm saying like it really has stood the test of time.
Okay. But it was better in the 90s.
Okay, we get the theme.
Anyhow, they're having this conversation about Guiltapalooza versus Xander's speech about living in the now. Now, and Buffy's like, Xander, you're making sense. We're young. We have a lot of life to live.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I just think it's a good conversation. I think Xander is a piss baby, and I think that he fucked up a lot of shit, and I don't really appreciate it. So I don't want him to get to live in the now. But I do think it's a general
Great
mode,
point. General great point.
a general mode
right?
of operating, a general mode of moving through things that hurt, things that are painful. It's wonderful if we can grab onto the now and live there instead of what Willow is really excelling at, which is just rolling around in a pile of guilt.
Just swallowing.
Yeah.
So that they do that, and it lasts for approximately 1 second.
Yeah, Buffy goes to get chocolate. Also a
Yeah.
great tool for heartache of any kind.
Yes, a salve for your wounded soul.
And then we see Cordelia hold her injury site.
Yes, injury site.
And what did
And she walks out into a dark alley.
she does.
And Buffy follows her, of course, and attempts to have a heart-to-heart with her, but Cordelia is not biting.
No, Cordelia is not biting, but someone else is.
But
a vamp, probably attracted by the scent of like Cordelia's open wound,
Oh, God!
right? Like she's just like walking into an alley, like I guess
Wearing
she had
a dress the color of blood.
right, and recently injured.
Smelling her open wound. Jesus.
Sorry,
And then she ends up in the trash heap. Right.
she does, and she makes a very good connection, which is, Buffy, I've been thinking, what is the one thing
Yeah.
that like continues to put me in these horrible situations? It's you.
Yeah.
So
She
she's-
asks that age-old question, that we have all asked ourselves at one point or another or multiple times. Why me? Why do I get impaled?
Yes.
And the answer is Buffy Summers,
The answer
I guess.
the answer she thinks
Yeah.
is, but she doesn't understand that without Buffy Summers, which we will very swiftly learn, she would not just be impaled. She would be wearing colorless clothing.
Right.
She would be having to go home early.
adhering to a curfew, no
she
student
would be-
driving.
And she would be in an incinerator. Let's just cut to the chase.
Oh, yeah. Oh, boy. Okay, So Anya sort of finally achieves her mission, which is to pull a wish out of Cordelia, and it's not what she was expecting.
No, let's let's pause for a second for Anya, because Anya saying "Don't you wish" several times is one of my favorite things that happens. Don't you wish? And she just pauses. Don't you wish? It's funny to me.
Yeah.
Any demon who like struggles in a very human way is a
yes.
thing that I love. Like that
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
just like fucking itching for it. Come
Yeah.
on, man. She thought this was gonna be easier.
She's putting down those breadcrumbs, but the goose is not hungry today.
Right. And so now, sorry, Jenny, continue. Cordelia makes her wish.
Yes, Cordelia makes her wish, and even though Anya is peppering the conversation with things like, Xander, he's an utter loser, Cordelia's wish is still, I wish Buffy Summers never came to Sunnydale. Fade to white after vein-faced Anya is like, done.
Done. So good. Great.
Support for today's episode comes from OneSkin. And if you have sensitive skin, you're going to want to hear about their scientifically proven topical supplements. Free from over 1,500 chemicals and preservatives that can make skin red, irritated, or itchy, their products are safe for sensitive skin. It's just one of the reasons they've earned the skin-safe seal of approval.
They've also earned the Jenny Owen Youngs and Kristen Russo seal of approval, if I do say so myself, Jenny.
I couldn't agree more. I've been using OneSkin for a few months, and after a few weeks, I remember it like it was yesterday. I texted Kristen, and I was like, maybe she's born with it. I looked in the mirror that morning and was like, oh, things are happening, and I am happy.
I have used a million billion skin products, and I did not think that I was going to switch off of the skin like lotion, the moisturizer that I used, and the under eye cream that I used, because I have used them for a little while and I really liked them. And I've switched completely, which is a pretty big deal. OneSkin is the world's first Skin longevity company. By focusing on the cellular aspects of aging, OneSkin keeps your skin looking and acting younger for longer. Get started today with 15% off using code BUFFERING at oneskin.co. That's 15% off at oneskin.co with code BUFFERING. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them, and if you can, please tell them that we sent you.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Burntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I uncover the blasphemous truth of a plague-ridden world, that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The heresies of Radolf Burntwine, coming January 2nd, wherever podcasts are available.
Hello, I'm Simon Jack.
And I'm Zing Sing.
And together we host Good Bad Billionaire, the podcast exploring the minds, the motives, and the money of some of the world's richest individuals.
Every episode, we pick a billionaire and we find out how they made their money.
And then we judge them. Are they good, bad, or just another billionaire?
Good Bad Billionaire from the BBC World Service.
Listen now wherever you get your BBC podcasts.
Great.
Fantastic. And then, Cordelia realizes immediately what has happened. In testament to Cordelia's badassery, she is fully present in the fact that she has switched realities.
Yeah,
and
she's just
fine.
like down.
She is fine. She's like, great. That's scary, veiny, good fairy.
So, like, she runs into the Cordettes straight away.
And then Cordelia has this cackle.
Oh my God, it's so good. She's like,
it's really, if you missed it, I don't think you would have.
But you gotta go back if you didn't hear it. It's
right
so
after the
great.
wish is granted.
She's
and listen
so
to
thrilled with herself.
Just so pleased as Punch.
Yeah, and feeling very powerful.
So in the new reality, there's a lot that's troubling. In my list of troubling things, up at the top is Ted Ginger going for third in front of everyone.
Okay, so Ted Sherwin, I think, going for third with Ginger.
Oh,
in front of everyone. So in Kristen's version of events,
yes,
Ted and Ginger have morphed into sort of like two-person,
two-headed PDA monster.
But yeah, the fact that everything else is so repressed and like dialed down, but then there's like just teenagers, I'm gonna say it, finger banging.
Wow. You did. You went there.
In front of other people?
I mean, I think that's a thing.
They went there. I'm just naming it.
That's a thing that certainly would happen in high school, though. Like, it is. It
At
just
school?
is. You don't have many places to finger bang in high school.
I know, but at least, like...
I'm upset by it. I have never done this in a public place, but I have been witness to actions like this. Maybe it was after high school, but still.
In a well-lit classroom?
No, that's inappropriate.
Or lunchroom?
But listen, here, let's just do a little bit of hell math here.
All right. Hell math.
When you're a teenager in high school, you have limited time in which to finger bang. I'm sorry for people who are listening to this with their children. I apologize, but
it's not our fault. It's Ted.
It's
and
not
Ginger.
Don't blame me. But so you have a limited time to do things of a sexual nature. Okay, so we don't have to keep saying finger bang. But you can, maybe in the extracurricular, maybe you go to the mall. Maybe you even get to borrow your mom's car, and that's a great place.
Right, but what do they mean
but
by
no, I'm not
front of
doing
everyone?
Hell math here. So you've got maybe you have 4 working hours in the day when you might be able to do this thing.
Engage in sexual activity.
Now, in the new reality, you have to be home right after school. So I ask you, Jenny, when is Ted supposed to try to finger bang Ginger, if not in the high school during the day? I was upset at first, but now that I've done the hell math, it's kind of reasonable.
Okay, but so maybe they were like at recess, sitting under a tree.
Yeah, high school recess.
We had recess.
Well, I feel like it's like free period. Did you call it recess in high school?
Well, I guess we called it lunch, and then you could sort of like go outside
Right,
after
right.
you ate or whatever. Regardless, maybe they were like under the old oak tree.
Yes, the old oak tree, yes.
Just far enough away from everyone as to sort of feel alone, but also still very much in everyone's like peripheral vision.
Sure.
Whatever the circumstances,
It's
this is my
upsetting.
least favorite thing about this reality.
I agree. I'm there with you. I don't like it. Thank you for staying with us, listener. If you're here, if we've lost you, I'm so sorry. Goodbye.
Also, I want to say one thing that you may choose to edit out at a later point, which is to acknowledge that it's entirely possible that third base now in 2017 is no longer finger banging.
No. The
What if
bases
it has
are always
changed?
the same?
But
Jenny,
just in
there's
case,
4
if they had
bases.
changed, Kristen, if the bases had changed, we would be the last to know about it.
I understand, but you can't
Where's
change
Gabby
the
Dunn when
bases?
you really
need
her?
Gabby Dunn. I'll text her right now. We'll know by the end of the episode.
Great.
She loves being mentioned. Ooh, that Gabby Dunn.
Beautiful. Okay. Gabby has been texted, hopefully.
I'll turn my sound on just in case she texts back while we're taping. She probably will. She's very good. She's a very good phone a friend, especially for matters of base and sexual deed.
Wow.
Math.
She'd be proud of that, right?
Yeah, of course. I'm sure. So, okay. So Ted and Ginger, okay. And then we talked a little bit about the other things, right? You can't wear color. You got to go home early. They have a winter brunch now instead of, I imagine, like the winter formal.
Right. Don't you think it's weird that students aren't allowed to drive, especially when we see Cordelia leave school? Well, you think school ends at like 2:45 or
Right.
2:15 or something when you're in high school. The sun is like already
It's
starting
probably
to go down.
Yeah.
And then it's dark like 10 minutes later while she's walking home.
Right. I mean, I think it's probably like it's probably rooted in a having control over where they are. And so if they have to get on a bus, then you sort of know where they are. Whereas a teenager in a car, you just, what are you going to do?
Whew.
I'll tell you what I was
Boy,
going
do I
to
know.
do, not go to school.
Yeah,
That's
sure,
what I
of
was going to
course.
do. So, right. And then there's a memorial, a weekly memorial. There's
Also,
an
she's
incinerator.
like, Willow and Xander are like, they suck, right? And everyone's like, oh, they're dead.
They're dead.
Cordelia.
Yeah, they're dead. I do like that all of the death and mayhem has not affected the Cordettes in the least.
No, they're still
just
going strong.
Cordetting
Yeah.
strong. So Cordelia is faced with the harsh reality of a Buffy-less universe, and she's not quite there yet. She's starting to panic.
She's like, this isn't exactly what I was expecting.
Xander and Willow being dead is troubling, but then she's walking home,
And she runs into Xander.
She sure does. And
Oh,
she's like,
gosh.
but you were supposed to be dead. And she's pissed because the first thing she sees is Willow and Xander obviously canoodling. They're obviously still together.
Canoodling, that's first base, right?
Canoodling is first base, yes.
Thank you.
I want you to know that the text I sent to Gabby about the bases said, I'm going to read you my text to Gabby. Important question for our podcast. Are these still the bases? First, kissing. Second, boobing. Third, finger banging. Fourth, doing it. So,
wow.
I was pretty proud of second base being boobing, and I just wanted everyone to give me credit where credit was due. Okay.
Great.
So we have Xander and Willow. And what are they, Jenny? What are they?
They're vampires.
They are fucking vampires. Xander's a vampire. He makes a good vampire.
I think he makes a better vampire than a human.
I agree. And do you know who makes a fucking great vampire?
Well, that'd be Willow, I would say.
Willow Rosenberg. Holy shit.
Here come Willow, she's a vampire Willow, and she ain't got time for you. Here come Willow, she's a boy now Willow, women leather making puppy stew.
Holy shit. It's another Willow jingle.
Willow has many layers.
Willow has many
dimensions.
layers, and vampire Willow, well, you know, I think
She's
we
very
all have
special.
I think we all have a lot of feelings about her. As a matter of fact, speaking of vampire Willow and feelings about vampire Willow, shall we go to Kate Leth?
It's time for our friend Kate to give you the Buffy fashion update.
Welcome back to Buffy Fashion Watch, where all of my fashion wishes have been granted. This episode has so much to give, and the real question is, are we worthy? We have Cordelia in some of her best outfits of the season, if not the entire show. I'm talking blood red, faux snakeskin, cut into a pencil skirt, slit up to the heavens with a matching jacket. Miracles. I'm talking a baby blue silk wiggle dress and a crocheted cardigan to school. Sure. I'm talking a sequined bodycon dress with crimped hair and eyeshadow to rival even Faith. Not only that, but we get both Butch Buffy and Vampire Willow. If this episode didn't make me gay, I honestly don't know what did. Where do I even start with Vampire Willow? Her jaw-dropping stockroom custom-made corseted top? Her flared burgundy Stevie Nicks sleeves, her clamshell boob emphasizers, her leather pants and chock-a-block chunky platform boots, and the fact that even though it's super hot and built to make her look like a total dominatrix, she still looks kind of a little bit uncomfortable, and maybe that's even cute? I don't know. Not to mention the makeup and the fact that she tortures Angel with matches. It's just a lot. Of course, we have to put up with Xander trying to be cool and taking up a role that could have so deliciously been given to anyone else, even Harmony. But I'll take what I can get. Who could stop her but Butch Buffy in her tank top, her gratuitous lip scar, her Furiosa eyeliner, and her unfortunate cargo pants? Pair all this with the fact that there are no less than 5 sweater sets and or sweaters draped over shoulders for warmth because, winter in California. And this might be the best episode for fashion of season 3. I know it's a bold statement. We have a lot of faith. We have a lot of pleather. We had Homecoming. But it's so good. Everyone is bringing it. Willow even wears a shirt that says mermaids with overalls in the opening segment, and it is adorable beyond belief. On top of everything, and it is a lot of everything, we get ANYA. ANYA, who can tell Prada from Payless. She is so perfect, and I'm so excited, and I just can't wait for everything that she is and brings to the show. Like, are you kidding me? Guys, the show, it's very good, is the thing. The thing is that it's very good. And Giles wears a really cozy sweater. I just want to hug him. Until next time, I'll see you at the mall.
That was our friend Kate. She gave you the Buffy fashion update.
Okay, so we'll just be FedExing a spray bottle over to Kate's house.
Kate is really making an impression over the last few episodes.
Brand strong.
Brand is very strong.
Also Kate raises a great point, about Cordelia's leather skirt thing.
Mm-hmm.
We see that it's slit very high, but I don't think we ever get confirmation that it actually reconnects to itself. I think she might just have a sheet of leather duct taped.
Pinned at the top.
Yeah.
Cordelia would ever use duct tape.
You know what? You say that, but she's a resourceful, practical, sensible, strong woman.
That's true. She did use a spatula.
I bet she could, put in, anchors into drywall.
Wow.
I think she knows how to do stuff.
Talk about fan fiction.
Nothing?
Are you writing an erotic novel?
Maybe.
About Cordelia and anchors? Okay. I want everyone to know that Gabby Dunn texted back while Kate Leth was giving her fashion watch in record time. I mean, you can time it yourselves, but it was quick. Gabby Dunn responded, ha, 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 ha. They haven't changed, I don't think. Also, that's very straight, right? The bases?
Yeah.
To which I responded, I don't know. I mean, you can certainly do plenty of boobing and banging regardless of gender. So
sure.
I think that there's, I think that the bases can be queered.
Well, I've been queering them for
your whole
good
life.
solid 20 years.
Exactly. So you've heard it here. Gabby Dunn, famous millennial, reports in that according to her knowledge, the bases are the same. I mean, the bases are always going to be the same.
I'm sorry.
The bases.
I'm having a personal revelation that I've been making out with people for over 20 years. That's crazy. Wow.
That is really
okay. Sorry. Back to the show.
Wow. Okay. Back to the show. So we get Vamp Willow, as we heard from Kate.
Right.
We're here, and it's happening. And what does she say? What does she say, Jenny?
Well, she says that she's bored now.
She says,
obviously.
Bored now. Can we get a little sound clip of that beautiful moment?
Bored now.
I'll tell you who's not bored now. It's me, Kristen. It's Kate Leth is not bored now. Jenny and Young's definitely not bored. You know what my next note is? Allison Hannigan is really good at licking things.
Wow.
This is like a signature move of not just Vamp Willow. We have seen there. I don't remember.
Oh, yeah.
what
Remember
episode-
when she put Xander's ear in her mouth?
Yes, she uses her tongue very
Voraciously.
Voraciously. Thank you.
This might be worth going back to American Pie, the American Pie series, to
see if she uses her tongue there too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's very good at using her tongue. She uses it many times in this episode. She's used it before. She will probably use it again, folks. Request submitted for a jingle for Willow's tongue. Thank you very much.
So, Xander and Willow run Cordelia down, but then you think Cordelia is about to get the bite, but a mysterious van pulls
It's the
up.
White Hats.
It's the White Hats.
White Hats.
So
It's
in this
Larry-
reality,
yes.
the White Hats are Giles, Oz, Larry,
Mm-hmm.
and Nancy.
Who's Nancy?
Well, Nancy, I'm so glad that you asked.
My notes are White Hats, exclamation point, Larry, exclamation point, Giles, exclamation point, Oz, exclamation point, girl, exclamation point.
Yeah. So Nancy, aka Girl, aka Mariah O'Brien, Mariah Waterfall O'Brien. Don't go chasing Mariah Waterfall O'Brien.
Is this the actor's name?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
The character of Nancy is portrayed by Mariah Waterfall O'Brien, possessor of perhaps the greatest name of all time.
Perhaps, indeed.
Who has been in a bunch of stuff like Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, and Gas, Food, and Lodging. But
the hell is Gas, Food, and Lodging?
Her film debut.
Did you just
It's
read
a drama.
that as though we were all supposed to know what Gas, Food, and Lodging
She was also married to Giovanni Ribisi from 1997 to 2001. And my favorite thing about Mariah Waterfall O'Brien after her name is that she appears on the cover of the 1992 Alice in Chains album, Dirt.
Incredible. What a resume. Really, what a resume. Who would have ever thought? I bet you even Mariah Waterfall O'Brien didn't know that here in 2017, we would be sitting in our basement studio.
I'm confident she didn't
talking
know.
of her resume and calling her more than just girl, exclamation point.
Yeah, into it.
So whatever. There's like this really quick moment in the library, and then we go to the bronze, which I've written down is the Quagmire from San Junipero. I mean, if you've seen the Black Mirror episode San Junipero, if you haven't seen the episode San Junipero of Black Mirror, get out of here. Go. What are you doing?
Shoot.
Go watch it right now. Come back. The podcast will be here. Jesus. But you have. So I'm confident you have. And you'll remember the Quagmire as the like dark club. And
like
that
sort of
is,
the
they
S&M
pulled a
club.
couple notes, I think, from the bronze here. They always play metal in the evil clubs. They always play dance metal is what Jenny called it.
Yeah, well, it's very fast, but then it's also very, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway, it's good. I mean, I think that the bronze is hopping. It's doing great.
They're doing better. Receipts are higher than ever.
Yeah. Their sales are wonderful. I'm sure trafficking in many blood cocktails these days over at the bronze. But my next note is in all caps. Jenny, do you know what it is?
I don't.
No, not fruit punch mouth. Fruit punch mouth. Fruit punch mouth.
Kristen shrieked in horror as we were watching this and was like, the only thing worse than Fruit Punch Mouth.
Every time I think I'm safe. Oh my God. Do you want to know? Do you want me to tell everybody what I'll tell you all. The only thing worse than Fruit Punch Mouth is fucking Fruit Punch Mouth picking up a tiny espresso mug with his long, spindly nails and then pulling a tiny espresso mug up to his fucking Fruit Punch Mouth and drinking out of it. I have never. This should have come with a trigger warning. I'm pissed.
This is the funniest thing that has happened to me in some time. Thank you, Kristen.
You're welcome. Then I have Vamp Willow with a bunch of exclamation points because I guess I got excited all over again about Vamp Willow here.
Yeah.
Because
she's just like,
she's doing it,
swaying hither and thither.
Oh, she's really. I think her face changes for the first time here.
Yes,
that's
that's what we
happens.
see.
And
for
she
sure.
looks great. She looks great in Vamp face.
Willow and Xander both look really great in Vamp face.
Yeah.
I feel like they also look kind of like different, like they look newer or something, like they look more developed than I feel like we've seen.
Right. Maybe they were maybe the makeup team was like, well, let's take it up a notch for these two. I like the master, though I don't want to give him anything and except for fucking a wipe for his mouth. Just clean it. But I will give him credit for this line where he says to them, like, either fucking figure this shit out or I'll see you two kissing daylight.
Yeah, what a great
Kissing Daylight, right? Maybe that's the title of your next album, Jenny.
Kissing
Daylight.
Not kissing toast, for example.
So we go back to the library. Giles and Cordy together again. And Cordelia is just keeping the title of badass in this episode, because normally I feel like in a scene like this, it's like Cordelia would be like, but Giles, and Giles would interrupt her and like,
right.
You don't.
She's like, no, shut up.
She's like, shut the fuck up.
Buffy
I have
is
shit.
supposed to be here. I have stumbled into this
and
reality.
She dies just moments later, which is what I think takes it even higher a badass. Like, she fucking got that shit out in the 1 minute she had
which so
before dying.
rarely happens. And also is like, how come you're here and Buffy's not? You were her watcher.
Right.
And he's like, I've never told anybody I was a watcher. He's all flummoxed.
I love that even in the reality where Giles isn't Buffy's watcher, he's still the school librarian. Or is he just in Sunnydale?
Well, I think he is the librarian. I think he was specifically sought the job of the school librarian so that he would be installed in Buffy's life before she even got to the school.
But then she never shows up. But she
he just keeps his job.
The Watchers Council, they need to get their act together.
They're poor commutators.
I
think. So Cordelia dies.
And I have a lot of conflict. Okay, let's have a sexual tension award conversation.
Is this it or just
this is it?
Preliminary.
No, we're going to discuss it now and we're going to decide who to give it to. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Sexual attention award.
So I mentioned already, I always want to give a sexual tension nod to two strong women bashing on the patriarchy together. I feel like there's always a certain energy created there that could perhaps lead to sexual activity, thereby smashing the patriarchy even further.
Yes.
Right? So I'm going to throw Anya and Cordelia in the ring.
Yeah, they can't be that far away from that utility closet.
Precisely. Willow would be hurt, I think. Speaking of Willow, so there's two thruples in this episode, but I have pause about awarding them. So when we had the thruple, when the Angel Spike Drew thruple was awarded their award, they got the biggest award of all. They took the queen.
They took it all.
They took it all with their thrupleness, but they were kind of all like consenting. They were all into it, or so. Or so we imagined, you know. And that's where my question lies, because are we awarding it on what we would like to imagine, or are we awarding it with what exists within the show? I think we're awarding it with what we'd like to imagine.
Okay.
And in that vein, I posit the two thruples also in competition. We have Cordy, Xander, and Willow.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
In this scene that we were just about to go into. And we also then later have Willow, Angel, and Xander. We've already seen sexual tension between Cordelia and Willow. We know it's there. They've had the utility closet. We've already seen sexual tension between Xander and Angel at the hospital.
Yeah.
Xander brought in flowers. So we know that pre-existing sexual tension exists between certain characters. And I'm just saying that if it were up to me in my mind, I would give it to Cordelia, Willow, and Xander. But because I don't know if I'm positing something problematic, I'm opening it up to discussion. Jenny, I don't know. Do you have any thoughts?
Well, there's
Do you
never
lean
been
in any direction?
anyone more qualified to confidently lead a conversation about what is appropriate or not appropriate, what might be triggering or offensive.
Yes.
I'm definitely the person you want.
You are. You're very good at speaking of complicated complicated issues. Well, so I'm struggling, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So should we err on the side of caution in these troubled times and give it to a brilliant pair, Anya and Cordelia, or should we say, you know what, this is about fantasy that exists outside of that? I don't know. I'm going to, without any guidance from my co-host.
Thank God.
Sam, do you have any opinions on this? Sam's just sleeping next to me. No one is here to help me. I am going to award it to Anya and Cordelia, but I want everyone to know that in my heart of hearts, in my fantasy world, I would have given it to the throuple of Cordelia, Willow, and Xander.
That's your fanfic.
That's my fanfic. So I will hold that I will have that as mine, as
Sure.
my personal thing that I will take away.
Wow.
But you all, together as a group, we will come together and award it to Cordelia and Anya. Congratulations, Anya. First episode, right out the gates, grabbing a sexual tension award. Proud of you.
Pretty exciting.
Proud of you. And you two, you go make out in that closet and you keep on smashing the patriarchy. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you very much.
Speaking of sexual tension awards, as you may remember, last season, our listener Emily made a sexual tension award bracket for season 2, where we were all able to vote on our favorite sexual tension award winners across season 2 and narrowed it all the way down to the season 2 sexual tension award winner, which was, of course, the vampire throuple of Drusilla, Spike, and Angel.
Yes, it was. And we will, of course, be doing this for season 3 once we get to the end of it. But we didn't do that for season 1. And we want to make sure that when we get to the end of season 7, we are able to have the biggest showdown for sexual tension in this series that has ever been recorded in history.
Wow.
So now that we're, a few episodes in, we're going to go back to season 1 and we're going to do this bracket for season 1. So for those of you who are just joining us, you haven't listened to season 1, you just jump right in. What are you doing? First of all, you could go back to the beginning, listen to all of them. But for those of you who are with us in season 1, you will know, you will remember, you will know that in this bracket that goes live today, we will have against each other things like Buffy and Cordelia. Cordelia and Cordelia.
Win.
Luke, I know. Cordelia and Cordelia. We're placing bets. Xander and Blaine. Hey,
Yeah.
Teacher's Pet, what's up? There's so many. There's a hyena 5-way. Listen, we made a bit.ly. Emily has created this entire thing. All of the images, everything. It's around
And
a
they're
huge,
all hilarious.
They're
Thank you so much,
amazing.
Emily.
Thank you so, so much, Emily. You are making this just such a joyous thing. So what you need to do to participate is go to bit.ly, so it's bit.ly /Buffering STA. So the name of our podcast, Buffering, and then STA for Sexual Tension Award, all lowercase. And that's going to take you to the quiz. You can fill it out. Now, there's going to be many rounds of voting. So we suggest, if you're not a patron, because patrons will get emails about this, but if you're not a patron, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook. All of those places, we will let you know when the next round of voting goes up.
Yes.
And by the time we get to our next episode, which is November 29th, we will crown the Sexual Tension Award winner for season 1, okay?
I don't know why we're even bothering with all this ceremony. It's clearly Cordelia
Hey,
squared.
don't influence the voting, Jenny.
So now that we've got that out of the way, I just want to acknowledge that after Xander and Willow finish killing Cordelia, they drop her to the floor and she makes exactly no noise.
Right.
No noise.
Right.
And then immediately after that, Willow throws the key to the cage that Giles is locked in on the floor,
Also,
and it
no noise.
loudly clatters.
Who's the sound person on this episode?
What I'm wondering is Cordelia so perfect that she somehow just fluttered to the floor like a beautiful dead feather?
If a Cordelia falls in a library and no one is there to hear it.
Right, but people were there and we were watching.
Right.
This
I thought
is
you were going
a
to say, like,
flawed-
is this some kind of, like, play on the fact that she's not in that reality? Or, like, I thought you were going to be thinking big thoughts,
No,
but you were just like, is Cordelia a butterfly?
That's my deal.
Which is great. So... And now tying to, so right, Giles is in the cage, Cordelia dies, Giles sees the amulet on Cordelia.
Snags it off of her before Larry and Oz take her to the incinerator.
I was glad that Giles took the necklace off so gently. I don't know why, but when he went for it, I thought he was just gonna like rip it off of her neck. I don't know why that's like what, I think just because the world is horrible here.
Yes, the world is
And
horrible.
I never know what to trust. We learn in the following phone call that Cleveland is also a hellmouth. Cleveland is...
Well, there's a lot of demonic activity.
There's a lot of demonic activity, right.
Cleveland is what they say.
I remember tweeting a while back that LaGuardia Airport was second in line for hellmouths. And a lot of you tweeted back, like, what about Cleveland? What about Cleveland? And I was confused because I've only seen the series once. I forgot. And now I'm reminded, and this is why everyone...
You just thought those people hated
I was just like,
Cleveland.
man, everyone hates Cleveland? What? No, okay. I get it.
I love listening to Giles on the phone saying, like, Sunnydale is on a hellmouth, and then indignantly responding, it is so!
Right.
So, Willow's reward for killing Cordelia is that she gets to play with the puppy.
With
the
the puppy.
is Angel, and that means it's time for another installment of Angel Combustion Watch. So, one thing Willow likes to do is throw lit matches onto Angel's exposed chest.
Yeah, you know what? The most unbelievable thing about this whole episode is that Willow has to unbutton Angel's shirt to
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? Let's be real, everyone.
Yeah.
That shirt was...
he's trying to protect himself. But
so the only way to keep Angel's shirt closed is to threaten him with matches to the chest.
So what I'm getting from this whole tossing matches thing is maybe Angel isn't as combustible as we thought. He's not just a bundle of old dried out straw waiting to go up in flames as we had previously thought. So maybe it's not so unsafe for him to be tossing logs onto
Right.
fire.
It seems like much fire would be needed.
Yeah, it just kind of feels like there's some inconsistency going on in terms of vampires and fire.
It's also interesting to me that we learn, I guess, that vampires scar from being burned.
At least in this reality,
in this reality, because then you'd think that vampires would have some scars from being burned. I mean, the guy's been around for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
Right? A couple of burn scars, even a cigarette ember. I mean, I have dropped a cigarette ember on myself many a time, I'll tell you what. And it hurts. So I'm sure that, Spike would have.
Oh my gosh, yeah, he's
so
always
many
smoking.
cigarette burns.
Oh yeah, he's always smoking.
Yeah, he's always got to light a cigarette.
All right, there's a lot to think about here. Okay.
Moving along. The puppy. I wish we could call Angel the puppy forever.
We can.
That's
There's no
true.
stopping us.
Willow's gonna make you bark.
Nah.
Okay. My note, I know we already gave the award, but my note in my notes is, oh no, another throuple. And Xander's quote, I just want to watch. Yeah. It's like, yeah, you made, Jenny's response was precisely it. She made a face that was kind of into it and a noise that was kind of grossed out. It was like you were right on the edge. You were like, do I hate it or do I don't know.
Complicated.
It is complicated.
So, Giles finds the symbol of Anyanka in one of his books and realizes that he has more research to do. Giles still drives that car in this reality.
Yes, I had that note too. Good to know in this reality. The Citrion, the Citron.
The thing we'll never remember how to say.
No, it's not even remember. We have conflicting people emailing us telling us to pronounce it all different ways. So people are like, I'm from France, and you say it. I don't know.
Right,
I don't know who to trust anymore.
So we see vampires herding humans like cattle into a little wagon.
I want to make a note that Giles says, I tried calling her. And I think we all know that Buffy specifically said that when the apocalypse comes,
to beep her.
Thank you.
Obviously.
She did not say call me.
Maybe there are no beepers in this reality.
No,
but you know what?
You're having too much fun with this reality. You're just taking things out willy-nilly.
Wait, what's really peculiar is I feel like Giles literally just called Cleveland.
Yes.
And she's already there.
She's there.
So maybe there's teleportation in this reality too.
Buffy is rocking a sweet lip scar in this reality. A long braid. I like it.
Looks great.
I like it. Yes, it's good. It's all good. I thought we were getting another Giles knockout. I wrote knockout number 13 and then I crossed it out. Nope.
Yep.
Didn't.
No, he
was
just
not
went
knocked
down.
Out. Okay, so then we're in Giles' apartment.
Yes.
And this is another very important conversation. I have to believe in a better world, right? Is Giles' stance.
Yes.
Buffy's stance is I have to live in this one. I don't like she has no belief in anything bigger or better.
So dark.
It's so dark. In this reality, Buffy is the opposite of Buffy, right? I mean, the whole reason that Buffy is able to win is because she does have belief in the fact that evil can be overcome, that she can fight, that she can win.
Well,
I mean,
also
she believes that she can fight and she can win, but she believes that this is the best that the world can be.
And she also, what she has in reality A is family and friends and a watcher. Like she has a strong support group, which is repeatedly highlighted as a anomaly in terms of Slayers throughout history.
Right, and the reason that she cheats death, and we'll get to this fight scene in the factory and talk about this a little bit more, but it's the reason that she escapes some moments that she would not have escaped otherwise.
Right, like just at the beginning of the episode.
Right, precisely. With, what's his face?
Cthulhu.
No, what's my guy's name?
Zoidberg.
With Zoidberg. So, also a little note that happens in the scene between Giles and Buffy that I like is when Giles is like, Cordelia said she knew you. And Buffy says, probably just a big fan. Which I love. In this reality, like the public knows about Buffy's work. And
I
like,
thought she was just being sarcastic.
No, I liked
but also
I liked the idea
great.
that like there was a Buffy fan club, but it was in Sunnydale. Like it was in the world and it was for Buffy in Cleveland.
Into it.
So Buffy goes to the factory.
Once she finds out that
bronze.
there's a boss vamp in this town and nobody has killed him, she's like, I'll just take care of that for you while I'm here.
Yes,
because that's all I'm good at.
But she first locks eyes with Angel, who says,
"Oh my
that
God,
Buffy was my destiny." Just Angel is dramatic in every reality, far and wide.
Yeah.
He knows no other way to be. And thank God somebody burned his chest so that his shirt could be open in this scene. His shirt's still fucking unbuttoned. And Angel in this reality has waited for Buffy. He knows he's supposed to help her, but she never came.
Yeah, just like Giles working at the library.
Right. Just wait. Everybody's waiting for the Slayer that never arrived. And then we go to the factory.
Okay.
Yes.
This is a huge problem for me. Huge problem for me.
Why?
Because the master is like, welcome to a brave new world, industrialization. Too long have we been bound to the routine of the predator, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, let me show you how this works.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
So Whoa Whitney goes on the belt, slides down after being cattle prodded and immobilized, and a bunch of like really thick needles pop up.
Yeah.
Enter her
Reminiscent
body.
of the glove of Minigon.
Yes.
It's like a body glove.
Yes, exactly. Enter her body wherever.
Right.
Definitely piercing organs.
Right.
They go into her middle.
Right.
But all they pull out is blood somehow. And then, she's drained and then they have it like on tap or whatever.
Yes.
Now, here's the thing.
Yes.
Consider the hours, the hours of labor, the hours of engineering that go into designing and constructing this system, this process, right? And the upkeep and the labor of rounding people up and then putting them on this thing and then having blood on tap. And then also, like, that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't yield more for the vampires, and it robs them of fulfilling their natural instinct by hunting and killing, which for predators seems pretty important.
Well, this is interesting, Jenny, because, I bet you that hundreds of years ago, there were two girls making a podcast.
Sure.
At the start of the Industrial Revolution.
Sure.
And they were saying, why in God's name, it is in our instincts to go out to pick fruit from the trees, to get small fowl and kill them with our hands or instruments that we've created. And people wouldn't be happy anymore if they just purchased boxes of food.
Listen,
they just wouldn't. I'm just saying, I want to find that podcast.
I get what you're saying.
Exists.
Sure. But this is definitely a long way around situation.
But they don't ignore it. It's addressed directly by the master. He says there's a whole faction of vampires, you amongst their ranks, who say this is fucked up. That death is our art. That this is what we do. I am on that side too. I mean, I agree. I do like buying a prepackaged box of pasta, I will say. But I agree with the mentality that mass production is certainly tied into like the death of a species. And and that probably is not a good thing for vampires or humans alike. I also love the quote from the master. He has a couple good moments here, because there's another quote where he says, humans with their plebeian minds have brought us a demonic concept.
Jesus.
It's good. It's really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think that this is no good. I also think that we're seeing, you mentioned like upkeep and like hurting all the people. We're seeing like this is the very first time it's happened. So I don't think that they have like all of the kinks worked out of the system.
Right.
That
fine.
I'm sure
I'm just like, it's not good.
No, it's not good. For sure. It's not good.
I'm not buying stock in this company.
No.
So
there's a lot of this episode really had a lot of like 2017 in it for me. Like 2017 has been a rough fucking year, guys. We're rolling around into 2018 and 2017 has been rough. It started about a year ago, almost to the day, with fucking some bullshit that brought us into a pile of just stinking bullshit that we're still sitting in. And this episode like highlights that, because we're about to get into this scene, this beautiful, beautiful scene, I think, that happens, right? I know you're upset about the mass production. So am I. I'm upset about it in the world, and I'm upset about it in Sunnydale.
Okay.
I don't like it for vampires or people. But then the thing that we touched on, where Buffy has no belief in a better world, is it's sort of like why this podcast is what it is right now, is because Buffy does have a belief in a better world, does have a belief that we can fight evil, and does believe that there's more than just this. And so watching this episode was very moving to me, this scene in particular, because they lay out what it could look like if we didn't believe that there was something better. You know, there's still a fight. There's still a battle happening here, but it's so tragically sad. We see Oz kill Willow. We see Buffy kill Xander. And we see the Master kill Buffy.
Yes.
Right? Which is to take us back. Oh, I have the chills, because this takes us back to the end of season 1.
Right.
Which is fucking where we were when the fucking election happened.
Oh my God.
Wow, guys. I'm sorry. I'm having a moment live.
You really are.
This unfiltered realization happening right here. I'm going to cry. But like, at the end of season 1, she did die, just like she dies here. But she had her fucking friends, and she had her community, and she had everybody around her, and they were like, fucking, you can do this, and we're here with you, and we're going to stand with you, and we're going to fight with you, and fuck this shit. And they're fighting, and they're winning.
Yes.
And in this reality, she doesn't have that. She doesn't have her friends. She doesn't rely on it. She doesn't have the belief in it, and she doesn't survive. So I'm just thankful for all of you. I'm thankful that we have each other. I'm thankful that we continue to help each other remember that we need to keep fighting, and we need to keep believing in a better world. Thank you very much for listening. Shall we talk about the amulet?
Let's do that.
Great.
So while we're seeing that beautiful scene that you were just describing, it's intercut with these little bits of Anyanka and Giles talking to each other. Anyanka has been summoned forth by Giles. She's not used to being summoned by men.
Pissed.
She is not thrilled. She puts him in a chokehold. It's really intense. And he's like, I'm not afraid of you, and I need to like get back to the better world. And she's like, you're a trusting fool. How do you know that world is any better than this one?
Yes.
And he says, because it has to be.
Oh, Giles.
Because it has to be.
Because it has to be. Oh, Giles. Always getting me.
He smashes her amulet.
He smashes
it. He sure does.
And zap, they go back to the moment when Anya and Cordelia were standing in the courtyard, the moment that it all began at the school. And
she's all done.
Done.
But nothing happens. And then Cordelia's like, I wish this other thing. And she's like, done. And nothing happens. And they keep going like that for a bit. And then we pan over to the Scoobies laughing while a 90s rock and roll band plays joyful sounding music. And we have a good feel. They try to like make everybody feel better after 45 minutes of pure sadness.
Right. But it works. It's like we all got the reminder we needed, including Cordelia, that it's very important that Buffy is in Sunnydale.
Hell yes.
And as many of the horrible things that do happen to the Scoobies as they fight, nothing even can come close to as horrible as it would be without Buffy and without Hope, which is what they all need. And so a great episode.
Beautiful.
Marty Noxon, David Greenwald.
Great job, guys.
Great job. Fantastic job.
Finally, the validation you've both been seeking from us.
Yes. I'm sure your careers feel more complete now that we have proved your work. Yes, just a really good episode. Very excited about Emma Caulfield's work in this episode.
Hooray, Emma Caulfield.
You know, maybe we'll see you again. Maybe we'll see you again, Emma. Maybe we'll see you again, Anya.
Yes.
Only time can tell. Quite.
So, I'm Jenny Owen Youngs, and when I'm not making this podcast with Kristen, I'm making songs. You can hear some of them over at jennyowenyoungs.com/buffering, and you can always give me a holler on Twitter at Jenny Owen Youngs.
You can, and you could give me a holler on Twitter at Kristen Noeline. That's KRISTINNOELINE. You can also learn about the work that I do with LGBTQ communities, their families, over at KristenNoeline.com.
Buffering the Vampire Slayer is on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at BufferingCast. And you can always email us at bufferingthevampireslayer@gmail.com.
Now accepting your scorned stories.
Scorned!
For future Anyanka watches on this very podcast. You can support our work by, of course, going over to iTunes and rating and reviewing our podcast. That
Please.
It helps other people find us. You can also become a patron of ours, bufferingthevampireslayer.com. Just click on Patreon. We said at the top a lot of really fun things that are happening, but just a reminder, there is a holiday gift exchange happening for all of our patrons. If you sign up by the 26th of November, up at the top of the podcast, we tell you how to do that, but you'll also see it in the secret Facebook group and the events page. We have a Buffy watch on December 9th for our patrons. We also have a mailbag episode that is pretty fun coming out next week. And of course, 'tis the season. We have new merch. We have so much new merch in a new store. You go to bufferingthevampireslayer.com, click on shop. You will see all your old favorites, like the beautiful enamel pins designed by Christine Tuna and Kate Leff.
Yes.
You'll see new things, like a new Smash the Demon Lizard Patriarchy design for you goth kids out there.
Yes.
As well as the old Smash the Demon Lizard Patriarchy design, which is beloved by so many now, in a hoodie, in a t-shirt, in a baby onesie, in a tank top.
Unstoppable.
Just smashing the patriarchy all over the place. Not to mention the brand new Bored Meow t-shirt.
Yay.
Coinciding with this very special episode with Vamp Willow, designed by Diana Kresge. We don't know if we're saying your last name right. Diana, we're going to email you tomorrow and find out. We'll correct ourselves if we're not doing it right. You can find all of that again, bufferingthevampireslayer.com and shop.
And hey, listen, don't forget to, if you want to, exercise your right to vote in this democracy for the Season 1 Sexual Tension Award bracket that Emily created for us all to enjoy. You can find that by going to bit.ly/bufferingsta. That's bit.ly/buffering, our podcast, STA, which stands for Sexual Tension Award.
It does. It does. There'll be many rounds of voting, so you probably also want to follow us on social so that you not only get to participate in this first round, but in all of the rounds until we crown a winner.
Vote wisely.
So we will crown that winner on our next episode for the public, which is November 29th, when we come back with amends. And guess who is going to be our guest on that episode? Her name rhymes with Mabby Duns.
What?
I know, I didn't. It was, her name rhymes with Labby Funds.
Nice. I like that you're consistently putting the S on the end for reasons no one can be certain of.
Her name is Gabby Dunn, and she's going to be talking to us about Angel and all his glory in the episode that is amends. You also may want to, we're doing something special on Saturday, okay? We're not even going to tell you what it is. It's going to become a special episode in December.
Mm-hmm.
But we are making the special episode traveling a couple of hours even to a place. I don't even know where it is. You won't know until Saturday. We won't know until, just kidding. We know where we're going. But if you want to follow us, we'll be putting some little clips of this special trip up on our socials. So Jenny told you how to follow at BufferingCast. This Saturday, the 18th, we will be doing some really fun stuff. I'm just saying. You'll get the full episode in December, but if you want to see some behind the scenes fun stuff, come and follow us.
Yes.
All right. I think we've done all that we need to do here, Jenny.
God, I hope
Except
so.
for one thing.
Till next time.
Awoo! Vamp Willow and
Anya. Up in the cemetery every evening, I've been slaying some vampires in Cleveland. Yeah, shout if you feel how I'm feeling. Just a vampire slayer in Cleveland. Vampire slayer in Cleveland. Never had much to believe in. No friends and no family in Cleveland. Just a whole lot of death I've been dealing to the vampires living in Cleveland. Vampire slayer in Cleveland. When I go out on patrol, I'm the loneliest girl in Ohio. Rust Belt Hellmouth is seething in the slumbering dark heart of Cleveland. All manner of evil come creeping to the vampire slayer in Cleveland. Vampire slayer in Cleveland. My whole life's one long patrol. And every single night I have to go check the grog shop and Great Lakes Brewing. Tommy's on Coventry. the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and the shores of Lake Erie. And don't forget the labyrinth of Cleveland's back alleys. Ha! I never dream about leaving, 'cause my calling has bound me to Cleveland for the rest of the days that I'm breathing. I'll be a vampire slayer in Cleveland. 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 Vampire slayer in Cleveland.
Hi, I'm Dana Schwartz, and this is Rise or Die, the official companion podcast for Peacock's original series, Those About to Die. On this podcast, I go behind the scenes with the show's cast and creators to learn how they brought their brutal vision of Rome to life. I talked to acclaimed director and executive producer Roland Emmerich.
When I saw the first race, I was like giddy.
Actor Ewan Ryan.
For an actor, that's a dream, although you do get a lot of sand in your sandals.
And so many more.
You helped summon those ghosts back onto that stage.
Every day when I went to set, I was giggling about what I saw.
I think it's going to be a breathtaking thing.
Gosh, people will freak out.
Rise or Die launches on July 18th. Watch or listen wherever you get your podcasts.
A bloodbath tonight in the rural town of Chinook.
Everyone here is hiding a secret.
4 more victims found scattered.
Some worse than others. I came as fast as I could. I'm Deputy Ruth Vogel. And soon, my quiet life will never be the same.
Realm presents a 30 Ninjas production, Chinook, starring Kelly Marie Tran and Sanaa Lathan. Listen to Chinook wherever you get your podcasts.